What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a new video. So today we will be discussing one of my personal favorite snake species in the entire world, that being the Halmahera Scrub Python. Aside from barneck scrub pythons, these represent the largest number within my group of scrub pythons in general, and for very good reason. So today I'm going to show you a majority of my Halmahera collection and explain why these animals are so incredible. Couldn't think of a better snake to start this video off with. This is the Halmahera scrub that I've had for the longest period of time. I got her back in 2019 as an imported neonate and have raised her up since to now being full-grown adult. This was not my first Halmahera. I had a group that I had gotten in earlier that year. Unfortunately, I ended up losing a couple of them. And then one of those that I got in the original group that was sold to me as a female ended up being a male and is now with Shane Adamson, and it has sired one, maybe even two clutches for him. So I was very lucky to be able to have an animal to send for the sake of breeding, producing the first generation of captive bred Halmaheras. But this snake to me is almost the perfect scrub python. I've said it on podcasts and probably in a couple of videos, but I think in 5 years, Halmaheras will be the most popular scrub python for a handful of reasons. One primarily being their size, to where they're not generally quite as large as most of the other scrub pythons. While there have been, credible accounts of 10, even 12-foot long Halmaheras, that seems to me to almost be the equivalent of a 15-foot barneck. Has it existed? Sure. Have there been very many of them? Absolutely not. To me, average adult size for a Halmahera scrub is about 8 to 9 feet long and very slender. So you wouldn't know it, but this girl is definitely all of 8 feet long right here. But still a pretty small package, the girth of probably your average healthy weighted carpet python of the larger species, like a bredli or a coastal. And as you'll see throughout the video, their color palette is really, really beautiful, despite kind of what people have thought about these snakes historically as being kind of drab. A lot of the imports that came in older and poor health didn't show the best coloration they could just because they weren't in the best of condition. This girl right here will go from kind of this right here look of kind of gray and brown, some almost yellowish flaming highlights, to almost axanthic looking at times. One of the coolest parts of these snakes is that they do go through color shifts throughout the day. Another really cool aspect is their amazing orange eyes. You don't see on many scrub pythons, but is one of the indicators of the Halmaheras. This is another one of my adult female Halmaheras, and Hook is out because she is not necessarily the most trustworthy snake. With that said, though, almost all of my Halmaheras have a very good demeanor, and I would even say in a lot of cases more calm than some of the barnecks, Moluccans, etc., that have good temperaments. Halmaheras in general are one of the slower, if not the slowest, scrub python. Even in the enclosure, they're not really going to engage you until you engage them. With the exception of her right now, even though I have fully engaged her. But to the point of the size I was making earlier, this is an adult female. She's maybe 7 feet long and pretty slender. A large rat leaves a significant lump in her. So, and then you could see firsthand how small they are when they're coiled up. So definitely a small snake, especially when you compare them to species like barnecks and Moluccans, southern types, that get significantly larger than this. All right, this is one of my adult male Halmaheras. He's a bit fired down right now, but he is definitely one of the higher colored individuals in the group, with kind of a nice orangish yellow tone to his base color, and then really cool kind of orangish head on him as well. Another thing that most scrub pythons possess that is definitely present in Halmaheras is a kind of sexual dimorphism in body structure. He has a pretty big head and then a very slender body, especially down towards the back third, the way that most scrub pythons are, where that's how males are. Females will have proportionally smaller heads, and the back third of their body will be a bit thicker, to where once they get to about this size, which is 7 to 8 feet, with pretty good certainty, you can essentially sex them on body dimorphism alone, which I wouldn't recommend as the tool to use. I definitely don't do that myself. I've had theories about animals I've had being missexed based on that, this animal included, and every time it is proven to be right. But not a problem for me, because I am absolutely thrilled that this guy is a male breeder for me, and I am excited to get his genetics into captive bred lineages. All right, so here's another male Halmahera. This guy has a really cool kind of gray wash to his body, very atypical color for this species. as well as kind of a faded out pattern where the base color and the banding color isn't all too dissimilar. Gives him a bit of like a monochromatic look that I think is really cool. But then he also has these really neat kind of yellow lateral bars, almost kind of akin to what you would see on a Highland scrub python. Oh, not obviously to the same extreme. And down further in the body, some yellow coming through as well. It's a really unique mix of a color palette for a Halmahera. And this guy, being a male, he's probably ready to breed now at this size. So potentially next year, get him in the rotation. And I think he'll be part of kind of unlocking the potential of what kind of different colors and patterns we can see within these snakes. Because an appearance like this is one that I've seen very infrequently within this species, but I would love to see a whole hell of a lot more of in the future. All right, and here's another one of the female Halmaheras, and she may be the best colored individual that I have. So like I was discussing earlier with that male, that was really nice high yellow. These guys, they really have a much more complete color palette than most people will give them credit for, where historically a lot of the imported Halmaheras were pretty dark. They can come in very bright colors, and this girl's a perfect example of it. She's pretty fired up right now, but she really can get even more fired up than this, where she almost has like a pretty solid gold wash to her body, and especially kind of near her chin. Really just some very, very bright colors throughout the body. You know, even throughout the side, even some gray laced in with that yellow gold coloration. Really just an incredible snake. And of course, a very good demeanor on her as well. So she's probably a year or two out from being up to size to breed. But my hope is to be able to take her to that really nice male that I showed you guys earlier, and you know, try to produce kind of some high yellow Halmahera offspring. So far in the history of captive breeding, the brief history of captive breeding Halmahera scrub pythons, it seems that even in the first generation, the colors really, really pop when compared to wild-caught animals. So this girl right here, I believe to be one of the keys to unlock some of the future potential as far as colors go of this species. So this right here is a very, very special snake. This is a captive born and bred Halmahera scrub python produced by Chuck Poland in 2020. I was very, very fortunate to get my hands on some of those animals that Chuck produced. And this guy is just, I mean, it goes without saying how spectacular this snake is. Super high contrast, really cool gold coloration, some cool gray coming in on the side, really nice and calm demeanor as well, which, as I've been saying throughout the video, is to me seems to be a theme within this species. They all seem to have really good demeanors. An animal like this is really what I want at this point in the project with this species. He will be a very important part of creating unrelated second generation Halmahera scrub pythons whenever he is ready to go, and whenever there are unrelated females of the same size to him. Even taking him to some wild-caught females is going to be something that I'm very much looking forward to doing. So yeah, this is an incredible snake. And for me, you know, when I was first getting into these Halmaheras, they never even been produced in captivity. So the idea of having captive bred animals in my collection one day really seemed like a far out dream, but I'm very, very fortunate to be here now. And this here is another one of my captive bred males. This guy is really cool for a number of reasons, but one being that he has a lot more gold pattern on him than the brown pattern, to where kind of the ratio of it is a little heavier on the gold side. He's much thicker bars than a lot of Halmaheras will have. He's a bit fired down in coloration right now. When he's fired up, he looks really, really gold. He's a super cool individual, pretty chill attitude as well. But yeah, I mean, it really is a lot of fun having both some wild caught and some captive bred individuals in the group, kind of to see the differences and similarities between them. I would say with the captive breds, their temperaments across the board are really chill. Some of my wild caught adults are pretty calm as well. But as you saw earlier in the video, some of them never fully came to trust me in the captive setting. And then also, generally speaking, these captive bred animals seem to have better coloration than their wild caught parents and counterparts, which, you know, to me is not too dissimilar from a lot of the other scrub pythons, but definitely gives me hope that multiple generations will really unlock the true potential of this species. All right, now here is one of the captive bred females I have in the collection now. So this girl's a bit fired down right now, and her colors alone aren't on the more spectacular side Compared to some of the other ones, obviously she's still super beautiful. But what really stands out about this girl is the striping going on her neck. Striped Halmaheras definitely do exist. There are theories that it might actually be a locality type thing in the wild, that some of the animals from more the western side of the island have some striping, but based on very anecdotal data. So a girl like this definitely gives me hope that this can be kind of line bred in the future. Try to see if we can replicate that striped look. But either way, no matter what happens, a female captive bred Halmahera Scrub Python is worth its weight in gold. And, especially on top of that, she has a perfect attitude as well. Like I've been saying throughout the video, kind of as a theme of these snakes. Really an incredible snake. All right, this male right here is super special. He's another one of my captive bred Halmaheras, and he is one of the darkest, most unique looking Halmaheras I've ever seen. He has this really cool light spot right at the front of his face between kind of the nose and the eyes. There's really cool dark coloration down the rest of the body. With how iridescent scrub pythons are, the darker they are, the more the iridescence shows, as is very apparent in Boland's pythons, one of the most, if not the most iridescent snake in the world, maybe second to sunbeam snakes. But with this guy, I'm not sure if it's picking up on video or not, but he's super iridescent as well, to the point where some of that dark brown coloration almost looks purple in the right lighting. If I have any Halmaheras I'm excited to see offspring from in the future, it might be this male right here. He is just so unique as far as this species go that I just need to see what his offspring are going to look like. This snake needs no introduction for obvious reason. This is a sibling to the last girl we were just taking a look at, and she here is one of the highest colored Halmaheras I've ever seen in pictures or in person. She's pretty fired up right now after shedding kind of recently, and she just absolutely glows. I mean, 10, 15 years ago, the way that I see it, the hobby didn't even really know that these snakes had the capacity to look like this. And this is just with one generation of captive breeding. So who knows what can be unlocked with 2, 3 generations of selectively breeding high-colored Halmahera scrubs. Her silvers on the side are just absolutely spectacular. That kind of pale yellow throughout the body, getting really vibrant in some areas. This overall kind of almost a hypo-ish look to her, really bright head color. She's just phenomenal. At this point, one of my favorite Halmaheras in my group. All right, everybody, thank you for checking out that video. If you liked it, please subscribe here on the YouTube channel. I drop a new video every single Friday. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Instagram at Scrub Shepherd, Stephen Cush on Facebook, and Cush Reptile on Morph Market. I also host a podcast every Wednesday night called Cush's Corner on the Trap Talk Reptile Network, and that is at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, thank you guys for checking out the video, and I'll catch you all back here next week for a new one.